Hello friends, and welcome back to HorrorScoped. Today we'll be taking a trip down to the Inkwell underworld to take a gander at the central antagonist of Cuphead, the Devil. Now, while this game is a bit cartoony and random, the force behind it all is still a very formidable entity. The Devil is obviously Cuphead's interpretation of the entity known as Satan, from real-world religious texts. In Cuphead, this character takes on the role of the primary adversary to the heroes, Cuphead and Mugman. Much like the rest of this world, his appearance draws from the artistic styles of classic animation from the early 20th century. Thin, lanky, and covered with short black hair, the Devil certainly looks like he could have been simply plucked from that era. Driving home his sinister appearance are his spade-tipped tail, horns, and mischievously toothy grin. His devious motives also fall in line with stories of demons from folklore, with his primary objective being the collection of the souls of the living, a goal he achieves through taking advantage of people's addictive tendencies when it comes to gambling. This, of course, is how the protagonists, Cuphead and Mugman, become involved with his diabolical entity. Impressed with the duo's winning streak within his casino, the Devil took advantage of Cuphead's gambling vice by wagering the entirety of the casino's treasure against his next dice roll. Before Mugman could stop his companion, Cuphead rolled the dice twice and lost. Whether it was due to a rigged game or terrible luck, the partners now found themselves owing the Devil their very souls. A raw deal, but one that should probably be expected when dealing with a demon. We initially mentioned that the Devil is influenced by real-world religious beliefs, in this case, the Devil or Satan. There are plenty of examples of this religious figure being a large influence upon characters in media, particularly villains. One prime example of this is Tim Curry's character Darkness from the movie Legend. This character fully displays what many expect the being of Satan to look like: red or darkened skin, large ominous horns, sharpened fangs, and hooved feet. This type of imagery has shown up time and time again within film, TV shows, and video games. The Devil from Cuphead also has a terrible desire for the souls of mortals, which is something else that classic demon lore is known for. These are typically acquired through a deal of some sort, or a Faustian bet. Like Cuphead's want of all the wealth within the casino's walls, a person would merely need to ask a demon for such a desire to have it granted to them. The cost would simply be their soul. This type of wager, as its name would imply, was drawn from the works of Dr. Faustus and the subsequent Faust, in which the named doctor made a deal with the Devil for knowledge and magical power. Mephistopheles, a demon in the service of the Devil, makes this pact and serves Faust for its duration. The ultimate ending differs depending on which work you reference, but regardless of that fact, Mephistopheles moves to take Faust's soul upon the contract's completion. Much like the entity Satan himself, whom Mephistopheles is said to serve, this idea of the collection of souls went on to be a popular theme in future works of literature and media. We of course see it here in Cuphead, but also in popular franchises such as Supernatural, or the tabletop game Dungeons & Dragons. If demons are around, then their desire for souls is likely present as well. Typically speaking, these dealings largely benefit the demon making the bargain, with the mortal both not understanding what signing their soul away truly means and having no hope of escaping the contract. Some properties have expanded on this in their lore even further. Dungeons & Dragons, for instance, has a devil by the name of Glasya, who is known for being invoked by mortals in order to try and get out of their deals with other devils. An Archduchess of the Nine Hells of the Dungeons & Dragons multiverse, Glasya is well versed at finding loopholes in the contracts that other devils have made in order to free the contractee, only to, of course, indept them to her, with their soul still being the object of payment. Typically, these types of deals cannot be broken in most tales. The Devil from Cuphead, in fact, made a deal of similar nature with Cuphead and Mugman when they pleaded to be spared. This deal was written to enlist the two mortals as henchmen of sorts, and their goal was to seek out the Devil's other debtors and acquire the contracts for their souls. Whether he intended to break the deal from the beginning, or if Cuphead and Mugman's success came as a surprise, the Devil avoided the deal in the end and made an attempt to gather their souls regardless. This just goes to show that you should never, under any circumstances, make a deal with a being of supernatural origin, especially if the cost is something as priceless as a soul is implied to be. Speaking of collecting, the Devil is pretty much driven to take what he wants. Much like other demons of folklore or Satan himself, the Devil wields a pointy trident, which he directly attacks Cuphead and Mugman with. He also seems to be well versed in magic, as he's able to summon crystals and fireballs, which he targets the heroes with repeatedly. The Devil also has transformations, which further invoke images of horror, such as a terrifying spider form, as well as those of a goat and serpent, which, of course, further references iconic demon folklore. All in all, the Devil is faithful to a wide range of folklore, and is quite the interesting adversary for our dinnerware-themed heroes. But with all that said, what did you think of the Devil and of Cuphead in general? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, horror fans, cheers!